All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something we all do every single day. But let's be honest, very few of us have really mastered it. And that's communicating with clarity. And we're about to see how the rise of AI is completely changing the rules of the game.
Oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You get that super long email, it's packed with jargon, you kind of scan it, you nod to yourself, and then you shoot back a quick sounds good, all while hoping, praying that nobody asks you a follow-up question. Look, we've all been there. But the problem isn't that we're not smart enough to understand, it's that we've been taught to write in a way that's designed to be hard to understand.
And that, right there, is the heart of the problem, the complexity myth. It's this idea that's been drilled into us that using big, complicated words and winding sentences makes us sound more intelligent, more professional. I mean, we got rewarded for it in school, and you see it all over the corporate world. But as we're about to find out, the actual science tells a completely different story. Just look at this classic example. On the left, you've got this gem. In consideration of prevailing macroeconomic conditions, we must recalibrate our communicative framework. I mean, wow. Now look at the right. It's the exact same idea, but it's direct, it's clear. Given the economy, we need to change how we communicate. So which one actually respects your time and intelligence? It's not even a contest. You know, there's even a name for this style of writing. It's called academese, and it's pretty much the art of taking a simple idea and wrapping it in so many layers of unnecessary complexity that it becomes almost impossible to understand. It's a great way to protect the writer, sure, but it completely shuts out the reader. And listen, this isn't just my opinion. This is backed by solid research. A famous study back in 2006 by Daniel Oppenheimer found that using all those fancy, complex words actually made readers rate the writer as less intelligent. And then, more recently, a 2020 study found that people who feel like they have lower status are the ones who tend to use more jargon, almost as if to compensate. It just goes to show true confidence doesn't need to hide behind big words. Clarity is confidence.
Okay, so if complexity is the big enemy, what's the solution? Well, it's not about dumbing things down, not at all. It's about building all of our communication on a really solid, timeless foundation. And these four pillars are the whole secret. First, clarity. Your goal is to be understood, not to try and impress someone. Next up, brevity. Say more with less. Every single word has to earn its spot. Third, you've got to have purpose. You need to know exactly what you want your audience to think or feel or do after reading. And finally, and this is the big one, audience. Always, always write for them, not for you. If you can master these, you're golden.
So, how do these classic rules fit into our modern world? Because now we have this unbelievably powerful new tool at our fingertips, generative AI. And that brings up the huge question, can this tech actually help us become clearer, more powerful communicators?
Well, the data says yes, for most of us anyway. Check out this amazing working paper from researchers at Harvard. They measured writing quality on a simple 1 to 5 scale. Now look at those orange bars. For people who had some knowledge, AI boosted their quality score from a 3.0 all the way up to a 4.2. That is a massive leap. And even the experts saw a real improvement, jumping from a 4.0 to a 4.8.
And this isn't just happening in a lab. A recent Grammarly report found that a whopping 80% of workers say AI improves the overall quality of their work, not just how fast they can churn it out. It's helping them avoid misunderstandings, get their tone right. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. And this is where the story gets really, really interesting. Because for as powerful as AI is as an amplifier, it has a very specific and very important limitation. That same study that showed all those incredible gains, it also uncovered a critical barrier. They actually called it the Gen AI wall. Take a look at that group on the far right, the ones with basically no starting skill in the subject. For them, AI did almost nothing. Their quality score barely budged, from a 2.0 to just a 2.1. And that is the key takeaway here. AI could not create skill where none existed to begin with. It literally hit a wall. So let's put a pin in this. The Gen AI wall effect is the finding that these tools are incredible force multipliers. They can amplify the skills you already possess. They sharpen your thinking. But, and this is crucial, they cannot replace foundational understanding. They can't make you an expert from scratch. It's an amplifier, not a magic wand. So what does this mean for us? Well, it leads us to a whole new way of thinking about this stuff. This isn't a human versus machine battle. It's about combining clear human intent with the incredible power of AI amplification.
So, the right tool really just depends on what you're trying to do. If your goal is pure fluency, say making a translation sound perfectly natural, a specialized tool like DeepL is amazing. But if your goal is adaptation, tweaking a message for a very specific audience, changing the tone from super technical to really simple, well, that's where a big model like ChatGPT shines. It all comes down to your purpose. And this right here is the fundamental mindset shift. The goal is not to outsource our thinking to a machine. No way. The goal is to use AI as a sparring partner, a co-pilot that helps us clarify our own thoughts and then express them way more powerfully. You have to remember, the AI translates what you type, not what you actually mean. This famous quote from Einstein has never been more relevant than it is right now. That genie eye wall we just talked about, it basically proves his point. If you don't truly understand your own message, AI can't figure it out for you. It'll just give you back a prettier, more polished version of your own confusion. True mastery has always been about the ability to make things simple, and that is a uniquely human skill. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. When you sit down to use AI, are you using it as a tool to amplify your own understanding, to sharpen your own intent? Or is it becoming a crutch, a substitute for doing the hard, essential work of thinking clearly in the first place? Because the answer to that question is going to define the future of what it means to be a great communicator.